shot straight through the red line.
We've got damage, we've got damage.
Don't do that! Stay still!
Derbyshire traffic cops.
It does have warning markers for potential firearms.
Turn over! You're under arrest. Intent to supply Class A drug.
Police 1,000 square miles.
It's a crash.
You got any other injury other than your head?
With some of the UK's most dangerous roads.
How nobody's been killed out of this, I don't know.
Do you know how fast you were going?
It's scary when stuff like this happens.
In life and death situations.
Get on the ground, you'll be tasered! We've got runners. Face down.
Yes, successful sting.
Around every corner,
Great acting, mate.
there's a new challenge for the traffic cops.
Step out of the vehicle now! I'm going
Stay
home.
there.
Stop grabbing me like that.
Coming up,
Got a body in the road with significant trauma injuries.
a tragic death on Derbyshire's roads.
Been hit by an unknown vehicle.
Yeah.
He's not stopped, sped on straight up there.
Leads to a nationwide manhunt.
We're looking for Derbyshire's most wanted at the minute.
Open the doors, please!
We're just looking for any evidence that somebody's been underneath that vehicle, and there is evidence there to suggest that they have.
For a hit-and-run driver.
Follow me's are on, vehicle is complying initially. And it's a stop.
Derbyshire, please.
Hi, it's ambulance. Could I inform you of an RTC car pedestrian believed to be fatal, please? It's on Pentagon Island outside the cricket club in Derby.
It's car v pedestrian.
Yeah, believe the vehicle has made off.
Has got a registration number?
Nothing yet.
Can someone try and find a screen or tent or anything like that we can try and cover up, because there's plenty of members of the public around as well.
Every year, the police deal with around 17,000 hit-and-run incidents across the UK.
Just the body you've seen in the road?
We've not witnessed it happen, we've come across it, but the young lad who stopped to say, "Are you okay?" he says, "I've got chest pain." He's witnessed it, mate.
We're en route to a call from the ambulance service stating that they've come across a body in the road as a confirmed fatality. And there's some suggestion that there may be a vehicle that struck this individual and made off.
At the start of a manhunt for a runaway driver, PC Dave Shaw is one of several traffic units responding to the incident.
No more traffic coming through, but it is outside the cricket ground, and we do need enclosing further up at Church roundabout.
It's quite a common occurrence for people to be involved in an incident, a collision, whereby somebody might be injured. For whatever reason, the offending driver, they make a split-second decision to scarper and leave the scene and leave the chaos behind. Clearly there's something not right with the driver if they've made off and left the scene.
Give the description of the car that's seen driving off.
While Dave makes his way, officers receive a report from a witness.
Tango 10, permission. The driver of this Uber had seen a vehicle hit this pedestrian and drive off. It's gone Nottingham Road, Chad direction, we believe.
Could be any number of reasons that they will hang around and speak to police. Drink or drugs, document offences, disqualified drivers. We see the full range of it, sadly.
Someone give me a point when you get a chance. Yeah, got it.
Turn round, mate.
Yeah, after you, car, could you stop where my car is at the end there?
It makes you angry and it puts you straight into cop mode, wanting to protect the scene, protect those involved and get on with the job in hand. At the moment we just need to try and get everything shut down. It's a major junction here. people trying to turn around, go the wrong way around the roundabout. They don't help us out at all, do they?
We've got any units that could attend, please, at Knowledge NA?
Any units who can stop making their way to the area, please be obliged.
As the scene is locked down to preserve any evidence, a force-wide alert is issued to find the missing driver.
So there's a male who's walked into the road. It's been hit by a graphite-coloured BMW. BMW Mercedes-type vehicle. That's what he's describing at the moment.
You know, we've got a body in the road with significant trauma injuries, and at the moment it's a case of keeping everybody out. We don't want anybody in this scene whatsoever. We don't want people seeing what's gone off because that's traumatic to them, but we need to preserve any evidence that's here. Whoever's done this would clearly be aware that they'd hit a person. The priority now is to find the vehicle involved. If somebody's involved in a collision and they leave the scene before the emergency services get there, then it's clear they've got something to hide.
Dave speaks to another witness.
I was pulling out here, and as I pulled out, the car come past me. So
Did it?
Yeah.
Have you got any dash cam?
No, I ain't got no dash cam.
You got any idea what the vehicle was?
I ain't got a clue. Believe me.
No idea what it was, colour, size?
Trying to pull out, he was knocked me out. So I've gone like that, though. Just a glare.
Can you tell me, was it the size of your car? Was it the size of a Mini? Was it the size of a van?
From the side, definitely black and all.
Definitely black.
Black or dark.
Anything distinct? Did it have any lights out?
No lights.
Nothing. All right. You get in that then, and we'll come and see you, because we will have to see you tonight. Okay, no problem. Oscar Tango 15.
Correct.
Just put on a log. Somebody's already taken this chap's details. He's come out the junction just after the cricket club, and he's seen this, what he's described as a black vehicle, similar size to his Cougar, driving at excessive speed. It's not turned down the next left from where we are, but he thinks it's probably one of the next couple after they disappeared. As soon as we've got someone free, we'll need to start having a look down those avenues, just to see if it's been abandoned at the side of the road.
With a failed-to-stop driver on the run, Crash Detective Sergeant Craig Walker arrives to lead the investigation.
So we've got the victim, who I've had a look at. I don't recognise him, so I don't know who it is at this time. Has come stumbling out of here, it's here somewhere, onto the road.
Yeah.
He's then been hit by an unknown vehicle, which we think is a grey BMW that obviously we're doing work on.
Yeah.
He's stopped, he's not stopped, sped on straight up there.
When you hear on the radio that a person's died, your heart hits your boots. It's the worst message you can receive. You know that is just going to start a chain of events for a family that is going to change their lives forever.
Either come outside of Pentagon or round the roundabout. He said, didn't come this way. But we won't get Pentagon until the morning.
No. Frustrating this time of night as well, isn't it? We can't get any CCTV from anywhere. You know, there's all these places who's going to have it, we just can't get it.
At the moment, boys, you have to rely on old-fashioned witnesses.
It is a crime scene. Everything needs to be controlled, and we've got that painstaking job ahead of us of piecing together the evidence that's left over from the scene, and also identify who the offender is and who we need to speak to. We've got a deceased on the floor there who you don't know who he is. He's not got his wallet on him. There's no phone on him. Nobody around is telling me who it is. So we've got to try and find out who this person is as quick as we possibly can for his family.
Are we sure he's got nothing on him? I think he said quick pat down.
I didn't move him because James was coming. But I've been under and got his back pockets, and I've done his top pocket.
It's an hour since the pedestrian was hit, and control updates.
I'm getting intel from local that's behind central alert. If any vehicles waiting for an update. Yeah, what are they behind? Standard black BMW, similar description.
The priority is to try and identify as many key features within that first hour as we can. Witnesses, CCTV, physical evidence. Try and get every little bit that we can, because that first hour is critical to ultimately how long this is going to go on for. I'll go to that. They're behind the vehicle that they think might be involved.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, can we just give priority to the car
hang on, I don't know.
behind this suspicious vehicle? Just give us an update of where you are, etc.
Yes, still travelling with vehicles going to be aware that I'm following it.
From Oscar Tango 15, could I just clarify why you think this vehicle is the one we're looking for?
Might be nothing, but we followed it from the same kind of area in Derby. It matches the description, and it's kind of done a U-turn through the estates when it realised we were following it, doing 3 left turns to do so.
Yeah, okay, there's a couple of us coming from the scene. Try and stay with it.
Yes, yeah. Heading towards the A50.
I'm going to go to the A50. Just jump in, catch us up.
The deceased is in the middle of the road. He's been covered up by EMAS. So yeah, we're going to have a full closure of the Pentagon.
After a fatal hit-and-run collision between a pedestrian and a car,
whoever's done this would clearly be aware that they've hit a person.
Traffic officer Dave Shaw and crash detective Craig Walker are leading a manhunt for a suspected hit-and-run driver.
It's been hit by a graphite-coloured BMW. BMW Mercedes type vehicle, that's what he's describing at the moment.
On the outskirts of the city, Dave and colleagues are tailing a BMW spotted leaving the area of the crash scene.
Follow me as around vehicle is complying initially. And it's a stop just prior to 23 Alpha.
Everything, thank you.
I'm just going to stay until Mark's with him. It's been reported that this vehicle may have left the area at the time of the crash. The priority was to stop it, rule it out, so Mark's just speaking with the driver now. And it looks like we're A-OK and this vehicle has nothing to do with it. Rich, I'm getting a thumbs up from Mark. I think we're all right.
When you know that your offender is made off, it is massively time critical, because you know that for every hour, for every minute, for every second that they're not with you, that you are potentially losing evidence bit by bit, drip by drip. So it is massively time critical.
We need to get the driver who's involved locked up, and every inquiry, no matter how minor that we get from now on, you know, everything will be looked at, every vehicle will be looked at. We've got a man on our hands, and we're looking for Derbyshire's most wanted at the minute.
As specialist forensics officers gather evidence at the scene, the identity of the deceased remains unknown.
If you got a call, then an officer's going to travel down to the scene with a fingerprint scanner.
While Dave continues the manhunt, a CCTV search is underway.
What's the time of show? I want to say that I've got some footage from the chip shop which might show us an abandoned vehicle. It doesn't look too dissimilar to a sort of dark blue BMW 1 Series one.
In a case like this, CCTV is absolutely key. Getting that quick view of some CCTV, getting you the model or the make or the shape of a car, allows you to really narrow down your inquiries.
I think I've got a basic area where it is. I'm just researching all the side roads off there, mate.
With a new crucial lead, Dave and colleagues scour the area.
It looks like a blue 1 Series. It's bang on at the right time as well. That's all we've got to go on at the moment.
We are literally looking for a needle in a haystack.
Well, yes.
You know, when all's said and done, we've got a person that's still lying in the road. That person still has a family, and that family still needs to be informed that this individual is not going to be coming home tonight. So it's a very traumatic thing for everybody involved.
Vehicle that we've got an interest in has been located.
and we're just round the corner from where Rich is with it. So it's unattended on here. Here it is. Stay 6 with him now. Go, mate.
Traffic cop Rich Morris has found a BMW, matching CCTV footage from a nearby chip shop.
Is there on it?
Well, if you look at this, it's got some. They look reasonably new.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
And then you've got, like along here, you've got some. These all look. This scuff mark along here all looks relatively new. I mean, it has been out. We know it's been out anyway. And I'm trying to look in the arches to see what's what. I don't believe in coincidence, Dave.
No, I don't either.
I'm not totally happy with this, to be honest.
No. There's definitely scuffing underneath it.
There is.
Yeah.
Jess Walker receiving Rich Morris. Mate, if you're in a position to come out to us, I think it'd be worthwhile.
The biggest thing for an investigator, I think, is curiosity. Be curious, want to know the answers, want to know why something happened. You know, that ability to keep asking questions, just not accepting things on face value, test everything, question everything, and that'll get you to a just conclusion.
On the front near side corner, there's scuffing on the corner of the bumper. There's like a scrape mark.
Yeah. No, point your torch at the bottom wing, mate.
Along there where it's mucky, there's like scuff marks along the side.
It's in the footage. It's that colour.
Right.
The only thing that goes against it is they said black.
Yeah, but in the dark.
Well, it's dark, innit?
As Dave and Rich plan the next step, there's an update from the scene.
Found a little bit of wheel arch, plastic wheel arch. So we are going to be looking at a car that's got some kind of wheel arch damage.
Right.
Some that they're all tidy. They've got
the lining.
Days of mud on them. So I'm happy it's not like
Yeah,
mate.
fine. So we can roll this one out.
Yeah, roll it out, mate.
Fine.
Thank you very much.
It's very much minute by minute with this. We're still waiting for that little bit of a breakthrough. There's some debris that's been located at the scene which has not come from this car. So we'll get there, we'll get that breakthrough and it'll come. Confident about it.
Nearly 4 hours from the time of the collision, Dave returns to the scene.
I wouldn't mind having a look at this CCTV because I'd like to have a look myself at this vehicle that people are talking about.
You can see why at that you thought it was a BMW, can't you?
Yeah, I can see why, but I don't think it is. It's very hard to tell from that, but it's big. It's bigger than 1 Series.
That's right, so it could be an X1.
Could be.
Got footage off the phone on a phone. It doesn't get much worse. You know, we've got what we've got. It's a blue car. We need somebody around that chip first thing in the morning to try and get the raw footage.
There's 2 things that need to happen fairly quickly. One is that we need to identify the young man and inform his next of kin, and we also need to find the vehicle that's seemingly driven over him and cleared off. So once we've got some daylight and we can get the CCTV, we should be able to look at the footage far clearer and have a greater understanding of what vehicle we're looking for. And it's all hands on pump then. Everybody's going to be looking for it.
It's a big responsibility being a police officer. You take on these investigations. You're responsible for the people that's involved. You're responsible for their welfare and trying to seek that justice that people need in these cases. Shall we begin?
12 hours after the accident, and the victim has been identified from his fingerprints.
What we've done is we found next to kin, we've been to see his mum. What she tells us is that yesterday he went out at 10 o'clock in the morning with a friend. He gets back home at round about 7 p.m. He's worse aware for drink. He's having some kind of anxiety matter, at which point he leaves. He leaves in the clothing that he's got on, which is just a t-shirt and jeans. We've got a witness there. He's out for an evening walk and he notices that a gentleman he doesn't know is up against the wall to the entrance to the cricket club. He's in some kind of trouble. He's slumped against the wall. He looks like he's not very well. He looks quite agitated. And the chap says to him, "Can you phone me an ambulance? I'm having some form of panic attack or some anxiety issue. I don't feel very well." At 20:02, while he's on the phone to the ambulance service, he says he collapses on the floor. He gets up, he walks towards the road and then collapses again in the road. He says a few cars go past him, pit the horns, shout at him, "Get out the road, what you doing," that kind of thing. He said, and then out of nowhere, he describes as a gunmetal grey or graphite grey BMW estate car comes, he says, speeding round the island. He says it's run over him and then shot off and carried on up Nottingham Road. We've then got another 2 witnesses that are there. We've got a passenger in a taxi and we've got the taxi driver. He's aware there's a car in front of him when he's on the roundabout, but what draws my attention to is all of a sudden I see the car's on top of a body. He says at that point I realised, oh no, he's run over somebody. Again, he's consistent. He describes it as a gunmetal or graphite grey car, bigger than a smaller car. We've obviously got this car that for some reason has not stopped. We don't know why. This person's got to have known they've gone over somebody. It's not a clip. There's a small part of a car that's come off an under tray, but it's a very little bit of plastic and there's no identification marks on it. But we know it's got a fastener on it, looks fairly fresh, and I think its position is consistent with being off our offending vehicle. So if you have a look at that, that's the part of the car. It's an inch and a half kind of size, and that's the only part we've got. And if we get a car that, for whatever other reason, i.e. it matches the description we get off CCTV, or it's a driver we identify and they have that part of their car missing, then I think that raises them up to being a suspect for me. We talk about golden hour principles in policing. It's that evidence that's immediately available after the commission of a crime that is going to give you the best chance of solving it. So, this is the chip shop. So if you watch this group of 3 or 4 cars, all reasonable speeds, and then there's that one there that travels a bit quicker than everybody else, which raises a bit of suspicion about why it's travelling that speed.
Have you worked out exactly the time it would be passing?
Yeah, it fits. If the time check's right, that real time is 2 minutes past 8, which is when they say on the call that he gets run over. What we've got to do, guys, is just fill them blanks in. There are tons of CCTV opportunities on this road that are probably going to give us a better shot than that. At the moment, blue car, it's like a needle in a haystack, isn't it? Whereas if we start getting the model of car, the design of the car, we might be able to find ourselves in 3 hours' time parked on somebody's drive looking at it. That's my hope, yeah.
Somebody's tragically died, and it's our job to try and help identify the offending vehicle and see where it's gone, and hopefully work out where the car is now.
Traffic cop Stuart Smith is looking for CCTV footage after a fatal hit and run last night.
You know, we've got what we've got. It's a blue car.
Footage recovered from a chip shop doesn't match witness descriptions, and Stuart needs to check if the timings are correct.
And then there's that one there that travels a bit quicker than everybody else, which raises a bit of suspicion about why it's travelling that speed.
Businesses adjacent to the crash site might provide a clearer picture.
I'm doing some CCTV inquiries to do with a serious crash on Pentagon Island last night. Do you have any cameras that cover any section of the road? Yeah? The time we need to look at is 20:02. so 2 minutes past 8. It's good clear footage. It might give us an indication of what size the car it is, what the side of the car looks like, because all we know at the moment is what the back of it looks like, and it's a bit of a blurry image, so we'll see. CCTV can make or break a job. That's why it's so important at every scene to gather as much information as possible, as quickly as possible, because information disappears fast. Witnesses leave or they don't talk to you. CCTV doesn't always stay for more than 24 hours. You need to find that information, you need to secure it as quickly as possible. I'm interested in watching that part of the screen there.
Sorry.
Because I'm watching for particular cars.
Yeah. There's a guy.
Just look at this fella here.
He's just staggered out the way of that bush there.
That's him, isn't it? I put money on that's him. Yeah, he's pacing about though, isn't he? We'll have blue lights in a second. Some dark coloured car. That looks like a grey estate, a dark coloured estate. The cars aren't the same as what's in that other footage. Alright, Lado gets up. 20, 30, 20, 18-ish. You can't see him walk across. Then we've got white.
Without a match, it appears the chip shop CCTV timings were inaccurate. So the focus turns to other vehicles.
White, Golf, black, black. We were basing the first theory on that bit of footage that we had from up the road with all the vehicles going past, and that car went past quickly, but from that one it's completely inconsistent with the vehicles that drive past. From what I can see, I think it's the victim with a white shirt on that walked into view of the camera, and I can watch it right to the point the ambulance discovers the scene. At no point did any of the cars match up, so I've written down a list of what there was, and hopefully that might be able to help identify the correct piece of footage. That's the trouble when the camera's times are out, it throws it all out of whack.
Stuart's search continues with another business nearby.
Oh, time's right. That's a really good bit of footage. It's definitely going to give us a bit of a picture as to what's happened and which cars have come from where. Street lights, they definitely help in terms of lighting and seeing what you can do, but it also causes a bit of an issue, especially with the orange street lights. It makes it difficult to make out colours. They all tend to blend. It was moving more towards the idea that it's black 4x4. So we've got the three cars. These are the three ones before the ambulance then. Black 1 Series or something like that. Black Saloon. Then there's the grey Insignia. There. Then the ambulance rocks up at the lights.
Having uncovered new evidence, Stuart heads back to update the team.
We've been able to work out that the footage time from the chip shop was about 20 minutes out, so we're actually looking at the wrong time. So that what was the blue vehicle involved turns out wasn't involved at all. But the other CCTV from the Vauxhall garage has revealed a suspect vehicle of a black BMW, which we now think is the offending vehicle.
First bit of footage we've got, shortly before 8 o'clock, is a black BMW 5 Series.
With the identity of the driver still unknown, Craig Walker is reviewing the new CCTV.
It's got blacked out rear windows, black alloy wheels, and also a black grille in the front. You've got the 5 Series BMW there, then there's the 1 Series just in front there. But significantly, we also get our witnesses who are in a taxi who have become the next car behind the BMW 5 Series. As you see, the BMW there, the 5 Series, is just going out of shot. Well, that's exactly where our victim laid in the road. That's the point where you see our taxi, the brakes, realising that something's happened just in front. and that's when they stop. So what you see now is the previous cameras are over there behind those trees, so your car's now travelling across the top of the screen, and you can see the white dot there. We know that's our victim. You can see, if you look closely, you can see that it's a person moving around, and this is the point where you see them fall to the floor. So at that point, you never see that person stood up again. You can see that cars are clearly reacting to something that's in the road. There's 12 of them in total. Some of them come to a real crawl, then drive on. So clearly they can see our victim in the road. There's no reason why our suspect shouldn't have seen him. The taxi driver stopped, he put his hazard lights on, but prior to that, yeah, 12 people, and many of which have clearly seen him, all failed to do anything to help him. And it's gut-wrenching to think that, you know, you could have maybe done something to save somebody's life, just a simple act. We managed to piece together a piece of work regarding an item that was broken from the bottom of the offending vehicle. That was identified as a BMW 5 Series. After researching ones recorded in the local area, registered in the local area, that led us to an address.
In Derby, Craig and officers locate the address and a car matching the one caught on CCTV.
Yeah. Got it missing.
There's some damage under there to it, so... That's it, it's all damaged, it's ripped, so it's behind that.
Yeah.
PC Matt Cork looks for damage where the small piece of plastic was ripped from the car after hitting the pedestrian.
There's like vent, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, up behind that vent, like, so to the, as you're looking at it, to the right of it,
Yeah.
is there a damaged bit there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that room there.
Yeah.
I think someone had to go around the back. Yeah. Is that alright if you just nip round the back? Cool, you okay to stay with the car?
Yes, mate.
Open the door, it's the police!
Obviously we've found the vehicle, so it's linked to this address where apparently the guy that drives this car lives. I can't get any answer there, so we're just doing some more inquiries at the minute to find out if this guy's still in the area, but we do need to get hold of him and get him in the traps because he's got some questions to answer.
You can see here, looking underneath the car, the damage matches with what we'd expect, with a drag injury, somebody coming underneath the vehicle, and it would appear where some of this damage has occurred, it has potentially collected some DNA evidence from the scene.
Forensics are just having a look underneath at the minute now whilst it's in the air. It's a lot easier for them to do it like this. They're just looking for any evidence that somebody's been underneath that vehicle, and there is evidence there to suggest that they have.
The team confirms the car was involved in the hit and run. But with no sign of the driver, they need to force entry into his home.
There's a warrant.
Thank you. Yeah, hang on, let me just check it, make sure. Oh yeah, it's fine.
I hope so. I've got firearms up here to drill the lock, so less mess.
You're in. We'll sort lock it out, won't you?
Fantastic. Just gonna put me in. Yeah. Go on, gentlemen.
Crack on, Craig.
Yeah, you crack on with that. So I'm looking for mobile phones, evidence of mobile phones, evidence of phone purchases. I need to link him to phones, so I need to find him. Anything that's going to tell me where he is.
Bank details, stuff like that.
Yeah, all that. He's got a car key there that's on the table, that needs seizing. How much clothes has he got?
I mean, that's obviously what he's been wearing, isn't it? There's obviously more recent clothes there, the stuff that's been washed. This is all dirty. I mean, you can see the dirt on all this. And all the
issue is going to be if he's gone under the car.
Yeah.
One of the things you have to be thinking about is that if he's made attempts to clean the car, work on the car, you could get transfer of that body matter that we know is under the car. If you're going to seize things DNA-wise, then it needs to be done professionally and properly by the scenes of crime officers in the way that they do it to make sure its integrity is maintained. So I'm going to make a decision to lock the scene down. We'll get a briefing in the morning with Task Force and SOCO and come up with a proper, thorough strategy on how we're going to deal with the property. This is just a timeline of the scene, just what you call material time frame, so it's in second detail as to what happens and when within the scene, taking the CCTV. So you're looking for your gaps, looking for things that overlap, things that don't fit, things that do fit. Cases of this are intense. You're chasing a suspect, you're piecing together what's happened, you're getting to that point of trying to show who did this. It is intense, it's hard work, private lives get put on hold, appointments get changed, things get missed at home, but as a team you work together, everybody does the same. You know, they give up every spare minute of the day is now on this case.
After finding the suspect's car and home address, Craig examines more CCTV.
We're able to plot that vehicle all the way round on the individual roads as it gets back to its home address. It gets back to the address about 3 minutes after the collision. You see him get out of the vehicle and he appears at the front from the driver's side. You see him break the two lines of the lights. He's checking 2 or 3 times around that front area where you'd expect to find damage in that collision. He's pushing something down on the bonnet there. You can see him put a bit of weight on the car or lean forward into the car. And then after a short period, he gets into the car and he moves off. That can only lead you to one thing in my mind, is that he knows he's been responsible for a collision. He knows he's potentially killed somebody. He's seen what damage is under the car, and then he's decided to hot-foot it rather than report what happened or talk to the police or contact anybody. This is the home address. This piece of footage is key because you can identify somebody using the vehicle, and that's our suspect. Again, it's the lighted top, lighter bottoms, the dark top. What's chilling when you watch this is that at that moment in time, he's only a few hundred yards from the victim's home address. To think that the victim's family might have been walking down the pavement and unknowingly walked past him, or his friends and might have just walked down the same road as the person responsible for doing this without knowing. So here he is, walking back to his home address. At the moment, we know that he's an Albanian national who has twice been deported from the country and found his way back in. He is under investigation from the border agency for being here illegally. We're aware that he may have links to organised crime. We've got a bulletin out there, so other forces will know that he's actually wanted. At some point, he will come to police attention, I'm sure. If he tries to leave the country, he'll be stopped at the ports because there's a marker on him. So it's any one of those. If we can get to him before that, then that's what we'll look to do.
At Derby Police Station, there's a major development in the hunt for a suspected hit-and-run driver.
8 o'clock last night, we got a phone call to say that he'd handed himself in at St Mary's Wharf Police Station. We have asked him today why he handed himself in, what made him think he was wanted, because we'd certainly not told him. He's not told us that, he's not told us why, but and I suppose we'll never know what truly brought him back. Obviously, we searched his house, which we then secured after. We took his car and seized that, so you can only wonder if all these things and bits and bobs that we did and all this work we put in has made him realise the gravity of what's happening. Evidence will be put to him in the hope that that will encourage him to give an account of what's happened. He was there, I wasn't, so there's only him really that can tell us truly what he could see in that car and why he did what he did.
after a night in the cells.
You can book him out to me if you like.
An interview team arrives to question the suspect.
Good man. That's... Did you hit anything in the road?
Upper Place in the New General Road.
Did you drive over anything?
It's in Bitichka.
Any questions on that, Clayton?
Were you distracted by anything at that point when you were driving?
Gjatë kohës që po ecje, të humbë vëmendja nga ndonjë gjë.
Were you using your phone?
Apo përdorje telefonin?
Changing the radio?
Po ndryshoje radion?
Or making any other adjustments in the car?
Ose po bëja ndonjë gjë tjetër në makinë.
Okay. So I've got no further questions, neither has my colleague. I'll end the interview there. He's answered no comment to all of the questions, really shown no emotions, just quite flatly, quite stoically answering, no comment to everything we've shown him. You know, what we're talking about is absolutely tragic. It's a lad in his 30s, he's a dad, he leaves behind a child, and to show no emotion at all through this case is really quite hard to see and makes you wonder what sort of person it is that you sat in the room with. The only way we can guarantee that he doesn't get out to do this again is to charge him whilst he's here, so that's what we'll be trying to do.
Just stand here for us.
Okay, I'm just going to get the interpreter on the phone. Hello.
Hello, I'll be your Albanian interpreter.
Thank you very much. It's Sergeant Rich Price here, calling from Derby Custody. I have with me a gentleman who's about to be charged with several offences by one of my colleagues.
I understand.
So the first charge is caused the death of Grant Sturgis by driving a mechanically propelled vehicle without due care and attention.
I don't have any comment about it.
A very selfish person. He's shown no remorse. Ultimately, he's putting himself above our victim and our victim's family.
Okay, based on the seriousness and nature of the offence, I'm going to remand you into police custody for court in the morning. October.
I understand.
Thank you very much, interpreter. Much appreciated.
Mirror option.
Thank you. Would you like to follow me in that room?
What was the reason why he didn't stop? Was he on drinks? Was he on drugs? Was he on his phone? We'll probably never know that, but at the point you know you've hurt somebody, it's got to be a natural human instinct to try and help, to try and put things right. And he hasn't. He's just looked after himself and he's cleared off. And I'm convinced with the work that we've done and will continue to do that we'll get a positive result for that effect at court. You know it's worthwhile when you get that thanks from the family, when you feel that you've got a sense of justice served at court, or you've gone to coroners and you've been able to sit with a family and take them through every question they've got about how their loved one died and give them the answers that allows them to move forward. That's when you know you've done a good job, and that's when you remind yourself why you do what you do and why we do what we do.
damage.
Go unit! Stay still!
Derbyshire traffic cops.
It does have warning markers for potential firearms.
Turn over! You're under arrest. Intent to supply class A drug.
Police 1,000 square miles.
It's a crash.
You got any other injury other than your head?
With some of the UK's most dangerous roads.
How nobody's been killed out of this, I don't know.
Do you know how fast you were going?
It's scary when stuff like this happens.
In life and death situations.
Get on the ground, you'll be tased! We've got runners. Face down.
Yes, successful sting.
Around every corner.
Great acting, mate.
There's a new challenge for the traffic cops.
Step out of the vehicle now! I'm going
Stay there.
Stop grabbing me like that.
Crash.
Bloody hell.
Coming up.
2 people in their 20s, both males, have now left the scene.
Hit and run drivers.
It could be anywhere around here, really, walking along.
Ruining lives.
He's talking at minute, but it's just not looking good for him.
Leaving officers searching for the truth.
This vehicle's crashed. One's been ejected and ended up over there.
Treat it as life-threatening until we know otherwise.
And on the hunt.
Come out the car. And I was like, I'm ringing the police.
Determined to track them down.
I'm more frightened because the children are frightened.
Who's had a crash? 1999. 999 now.
We've had a report of a serious RTC.
It's a head-on collision between 2 vehicles. Car on fire.
We've got any units that way that could attend, please, at Knowledge NA?
From 49, I'll be coming from Chesterfield.
Yeah, show myself after you on 4 cabin.
Traffic cop Chris Wells Jackson is heading towards the scene of a bad crash in the Peak District.
It's quite a notorious stretch of road that we call the Flying Mile. People travel down there at a high speed, and normally that only really means one thing. That's at the very least some serious injuries. 50 mile an hour stretch of road, CPR is in progress. There's not many collisions that I've been to where I've heard that's had a positive outcome. So it ups the ante a little bit more for me to get there as quickly as possible.
We have just confirmed that 2 people in their 20s, both males, have now left the scene.
Oh dear. Clearly there's something untoward about this collision because people have made off from it, whether that's because they've realised that they potentially killed somebody or because they shouldn't be driving that vehicle or they've done it maliciously. We'll obviously work that out. The important thing at the moment is finding these outstanding suspects.
Did we have any descriptions?
Mid-20s, white males, black jackets on. One had a hoodie. The male with the hoodie on seemed injured. Other male had a moustache.
From 49, it's pretty much at middle of nowhere. Only way they can make off really is across open ground or down the main road.
We have just confirmed that they've left on foot as well.
Did you say where towards?
Towards Chesterfield.
Yeah, I'll be coming in from that direction anyway.
Around 17,000 hit and runs are reported every year in the UK.
Most of the hit and runs that I've attended over the years have been because the driver of the offending vehicle shouldn't have been driving for one reason or another, whether that be that they're drunk, they're on drugs, they've got no documents for that vehicle, or they've stolen that vehicle or taken it without the owner's consent.
Chris, I'm at Alfreton. I'll go to the Matlock side.
Traffic cop Andy Swift is also making his way.
It could be anywhere around here really, walking along, unless they've been picked up. We're coming up to it shortly, so I'm just going to keep an eye out.
Have you seen 2 lads walking this way or running this way at all?
I haven't, no, I've just come here to stop the traffic
That's
coming
fine.
over the hill to let everybody through.
Okay.
There's nobody past me.
That's fine, no problem.
And Tango 49, State 6. The road's been closed from the Chesterfield side.
As emergency services tend to one of the casualties, Chris receives an update.
Fenders from this one,
Like the BMW?
gone in that direction.
That way?
We've got the female passenger
Yeah.
in that car. She's deceased on the floor on the other side of the car.
Yeah.
Her son is the driver.
That lad
The
there.
issue we've got is their dad, her husband, is sat in a vehicle on the other side of the
And he doesn't know?
In shock. I don't think he knows at the moment.
Right, I'll get Twifty to go to him from that side.
It's the mother and son that was in that car, and the mother's been pronounced deceased on scene. You've got 2 vehicles very badly damaged in the road. One of the vehicles is set on fire. You've got ambulance staff working on the son.
What's the update on him? Is it likely going to be?
It's critical.
Is it?
Yeah, I've got pelvis injuries.
Okay.
Have you got the casualty details?
No, not yet. I will letting them do all the work, because obviously it's a bit busy over there. So I don't know if he knows she's deceased.
No.
Is he not? Right. I'll let them do all their work before we pass it message, because I don't want him to deteriorate us knowing that.
The brother was behind them in a queue of traffic.
Oh, was he?
Citroen, so he might be waiting. as
Silver
well to get
Citroen.
through,
Okay.
One of the vehicles behind the deceased vehicle was actually her husband and her other son.
They witnessed the collision, and I don't think they've been told what's happened yet. Receiving Swifty.
Good.
They were travelling that way in a BMW. Electric cars travelling this way. They hit each other and spun. Electric car set on fire.
Received.
Dad and brother were behind them in the collision, apparently. They've witnessed it.
Now that sends chills down your spine immediately, because you think, well, they've just witnessed the family die in front of them.
So if you can just find that family, make sure they're secure, because I don't want them coming down. I'll try and find all witnesses this side. I've got local with me as well.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you know that husband turned up? He's in the backlog of traffic. I think he's in a bit of shock because he knows there's been a collision. I don't think he knows she's deceased. So my colleague's going to go to him now, making sure they don't come down to scene, and obviously we'll get them some support as soon as we can.
Having spoken to the husband and son of the deceased woman, Andy updates Chris.
Are they aware of her yet?
Yeah, someone's told them.
All right, okay.
Not us.
No,
Obviously, it was
member,
paramedics.
right, okay.
They're just out on a trip out from the holiday cottage they're staying at in Matlock, and next thing you know, the life changed. And it has changed. That's it now, forever. It's flipped on its head. It'll never be the same again.
Okay, the driver's there. He's in critical condition with pelvic injuries. He's talking at minute, but it's not looking good for him. He's not aware yet of what's mother, so...
The dad of the family is just processing what's happened. His other son's on the phone, speaking to other family members, trying to notify them of what's happened. And for them to be able to do that after what they've just witnessed is incredible. Because if it was me on the other side, I'd be a mess. I'd be an absolute wreck.
With the casualty in a critical condition, his brother looks on.
The family members at the other side have been made aware of the deceased, which is sad, and they're getting some support from specialist officers. We'll get a family liaison officer appointed to them shortly.
As the ambulance leaves, Chris speaks to witnesses.
Is anyone who actually witnessed it firsthand then?
I was in the TT at the front.
The BMW was in between
BMW
us.
overtook me.
Okay.
Straight into the front of it.
Oh, he's overtook at the point of collision. Right. Is yours the Audi with the dash cam, is it?
Yeah.
It's not every day that you go out about your daily business and see something like that. To us, we see it all too often, but to a member of the public that doesn't have any exposure to that sort of incident or death, it's just horrific.
With suspicions of a hit-and-run confirmed, Crash Detective Sergeant Craig Walker and a forensics team arrive.
What's up, peeps? Let's have a look.
And the focus turns to gathering evidence.
I'm faced with one of the most horrific scenes I've ever been to. It's what we're trained to do, but nonetheless, you know that that is just going to start a chain of events for a family that is going to change their lives forever.
Coming up,
Can't see it.
crash investigators identify some shocking evidence.
We've got BM coming out to the other side, overtaking.
And the manhunt is on to find the driver.
We've got one detained.
So when you've last seen him, then you're saying he's run off which way?
That way.
Could be anywhere here.
Got fenders from this one,
like the BMW,
going in that direction.
In the Peak District, there's been a tragic head-on collision leaving one fatality.
The female passenger,
Yeah.
that car, she's deceased. Her son is the driver.
And a 22-year-old fighting for his life.
Dad and brother. Behind him in the collision, apparently, in a silver Citroen. I witnessed it.
Witnesses allege a hit and run.
It was over. BMW overtook me.
Okay.
Straight into the front of it.
Oh, he's overtook at the point of collision. Right.
And the hunt is on for two runaway suspects. Traffic cop Chris Wells-Jackson is searching for evidence to corroborate the witnesses' statements.
The dashcam footage from the family member's vehicle and from the Audi hopefully going to give us the right answers and the right evidence to make sure that these people are found.
We've got BM coming out to the other side.
Yeah.
It's overtaking.
Overtaking.
Yeah, can't see it.
Yeah.
Chris and Crash Detective Sergeant Craig Walker examine footage from the car of the deceased woman's husband, who was travelling in the car behind.
It's the last clip on there, and then he turns his car up. You see the offending vehicle go out for an overtake, and then it collides with the deceased. It's a case of a bad overtake, bad judgment.
The footage all points to the BMW being at fault. It's been a complete head-on collision at probably 40-50 miles per hour. And obviously the impact was devastating.
It's gone for an overtake that simply isn't on and has absolutely shattered a family.
That's the one from the Audi that's been overtook by the BMW. Hopefully it'll show us them running off and all. That's the passenger, that. He's the one on the left-hand side of the vehicle walking straight up in all dark clothing.
At the back of the BMW, the driver slips away.
It shows the two offenders getting out of the BMW, walking straight past his dashcam, which is brilliant because it shows us who's getting out of that driver's seat and gives us a brilliant clothing description.
At the moment, we've got several units looking for them. Obviously, we'll have to try and identify who the driver was at the time and try and work out why they made off.
Whether that's because they're intoxicated, whether it's because they've not got the right documents for driving that vehicle, whether it's stolen, there is a reason that that person has run off.
I think he's gone back that way, hasn't he? He went back left, I think. Down there, mate.
Nearby, officers searching the area come across a suspect.
Where's your mate gone then?
Went other way.
What do you mean, like, other way?
No, I know that way's towards Chesterfield, but he got hold of me, so if you say my name, I'll kill you, I'll come and get you. Then he ran other way.
So he's gone down there?
Yeah, that way, yeah. And I'm like, I need to go and get to the hospital, I'll get home.
We've got one detained from it. We're just having a look at the footage to see if we can identify the offenders from the vehicle.
Looks like the driver has got some sort of dark top and grey bottom.
I think that's what it is.
Dark coat and grey bottom.
Mate, what's the description of your lad? We're just looking at the dashcam footage, that's all.
He's one top on, short, dark hair, without beard.
Yeah, 2-4, mate.
And he was going flat out in this car, then he overtook on the hill. As soon as he's gone to the right hand side of the road, he slammed the brakes on, was crashed in the car, he's jumped out, he started running off up the hill, says, where are you going? The people in the other car, he says, where's he going? They thought I was the driver, so they're coming to get hold of me, they've realised he's the driver, and they've left me.
So when you've last seen him, then you're saying he's run off which way?
Yeah, that way.
We've got one detained, we've got who we believe the passenger detained, but the driver really is the vital person we need to get hold of soon as. So we're doing as best we can to identify who they are, and then obviously we'll link it with any forensic opportunities from the vehicle, which should hopefully tie it in nicely and get some justice for this family, for the ordeal that they've gone through today.
To think, oh, they'll be all right. I just need to get away before I get caught. And to not think I should go and check and see how they are. It's inhumane. All they think about is self-preservation.
While the forensics team look for more clues to identify the driver,
yeah, just see what RTI can do, what the neighbours say.
it's now nearly an hour since the collision and there's still no sign of the runaway.
He could be anywhere here. Looks like the driver has got some sort of black coat.
Yeah, that's what looks like the RAV. Just looking at it zoomed in, it's a bit difficult at distance as the dash cam comes up to it because there's smoke everywhere, but the driver has got that RAV puffer style jacket on. It's just about finding him early so we can obviously match things like clothing up to him and things like that he's been wearing at the time of the collision. You look at it as similar to a murder investigation because ultimately this chap's killed somebody.
With the suspect still on the run, Craig's back at base reviewing more footage.
We've got some CCTV of them walking away down a lane, which shows them together. So that points us in the right direction. Then it's a case of good old-fashioned detective work, boots on the ground, knocking on doors, speaking to people to try and identify them.
News comes in that the deceased woman's 22-year-old son has also died.
We've got a family of 4 who came down on holiday, and only 2 have gone home. There develops a determination to get this person across the whole team. You can only run so far. We will find you.
It's Sunday night and sometimes the roads are quiet, but it can be busy up to a point, depending what events are on and the fact that the motorway is busy.
Officers like PC Paul Barker deal with around 30,000 injuries on the roads every year, and 12% of those are caused by runaway drivers.
Majority of the time, people who leave the scene of a collision are trying to hide what's happened, that they're not insured, or they've been drinking, or sometimes because they've panicked and they've got a concussion, or they just try and get away because they don't know what they're doing.
We're getting a report of an RTC. From an A, is there anyone that could start making the way, please?
South of Derby, Paul's responding to a suspicious crash.
Well, we're off to a report of a serious collision involving a vehicle where somebody's been ejected and they believe one person's still missing. All RPU are turning out to it because it's a serious collision. We're sending a drone down there and we're attending to search the scene and see what the injuries are. 1286.
As Paul arrives, colleagues and emergency services are already on the scene.
So it's just the one vehicle, and we've got one of the occupants who we don't know with driver's passenger in the ambulance at the minute being seen to.
Yeah.
Whereabouts has he ended up?
I'll show you.
Yeah. There. Right, okay.
We couldn't see him at that stage, they've trampled all that down.
Right, okay.
All you could see was sort of the heads there and the legs sticking up.
Right, okay.
So I think that's part of his clothing.
The person found by the side of the road may have been ejected from the vehicle. There was a report of somebody running away from the area, so the main concern was his treatment and then trying to find out if he was the driver or the passenger.
The seat belt is locked, so if anybody has been sat in that seat, they've not been wearing a seat belt. That's locked, and so that hasn't been worn either. I think he might have come out through the back.
And there was a trail of blood. It was as though somebody's crawled out of that rear window. I've dealt with a lot of people that have been ejected from vehicles, and if you don't wear your seatbelt, you're more likely to be ejected from it, and you're more likely to go through a small window, in which case you're looking at very serious injuries, if not death.
While Paul investigates the crash, there's an update on the casualty.
They're life-changing, life-threatening?
We don't know, because he's initially, when we were in the ditch, he was complaining of no injuries.
Okay, so he's talking?
He was talking,
okay.
Yeah, he's not being like cars.
Is he talking lucidly?
No. He smelled very strongly of cannabis.
Yeah.
And obviously the car stinks of cannabis.
Yeah.
He sort of flints in and out, so whether that's the adrenaline or the shock of the situation, I don't know.
With suspicions that the man could be the driver, the officers need to check him for alcohol and drugs.
Anything the bishop's me to do
roadside procedure or not?
No, he's going to
Nothing.
call here, so we're just going to...
Right, it's going to get worse, so we're not going to be able to do this here.
Right, we're going to Queens.
Okay.
I think from the sound of things, he's getting more and more unwell, so I think
Okay.
it is life-threatening until we know otherwise.
Yeah. He's going to go to Queen's Medical, which is a major trauma hospital.
As the casualty is taken away for treatment, the focus turns to the search for the suspected runaway.
Tango Sierra 2 is going up with the drone.
It's urgent to find anybody else that had been in that vehicle. They may be seriously injured and there might be life-threatening injuries that they've sustained. People can be thrown quite a significant distance from fast-moving vehicles when they hit something.
He's been found there.
So that's passengers been found there?
Or somebody has. We don't know if he's a passenger or the driver, but somebody has.
Whoever's in there has been found there.
So it's possible he's in that field.
Lucky escape. The car's absolutely...
Yeah. He could have crawled out. But nobody's seen
exactly,
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
Well,
we're going to go
we're
to
going to start searching the areas.
There's a Shell. We've got Shell and Wellington railway station.
Yeah, see if anybody's dishevelled down there, yeah. We're not actually sure that anybody else has been in the vehicle. It's just been the driver, but we'll see. He's been coming this way and he's hit something on that side which has caused him to flip over, and he's ended up over there, so he's either crawled there or he's been ejected there. We don't know.
We have to search just to make sure that there's anybody in the fields nearby. Drivers might turn around and say that they were with somebody, but that's sometimes because they've got head injuries and they're confused. But we've still got to double check whether somebody's in the fields injured, and they'll be able to shout for help unless there's some independent person can say, no, there was only one person in that vehicle.
While the search continues, Paul speaks to a witness.
The Focus was in front of me, and
Yeah.
then in front of that there was another car. I couldn't tell you what it was.
Yeah.
Which was about here.
Yeah.
Then there was folks milling about, and I saw somebody was pointing into here. So
Right.
I got out my van down there, come
Yeah.
up and saw that there was a lad in there. So
Yeah.
I said, right, I'll bring my van up and shine my lights.
Okay.
So I've just abandoned that here to
Yeah.
shine my lights so they could see what they were doing.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's fine. Have somebody taken your details?
Yes.
Right, okay, yeah. If you want to turn around and go back that way, excellent. I think the drone's coming down now. Can't find anybody. So the dog's been out, had a look, can't find anybody. The drone's been up, had a look, can't find anybody. At some point we're going to call off the search for anybody lying in the hedge or anything. In this weather and this temperature, any kind of heat source should be found by the drone, and the dog should have found anybody as well, and he's not found anybody.
Fellow traffic cop Dave Shaw arrives with an update from the hospital.
The driver is now looking more conscious than he was at the hospital, and he's now stated that he was the only one in the car. Just him, just the driver. Nobody else was in the vehicle. So that would suggest that he's got himself out of the vehicle, whether it's climbing out the window or getting out the back window, or which is all smashed.
There's flood on the driver's side of the vehicle, which indicates that there was only the driver in the vehicle at the time of the collision, and that he'd actually crawled out of the vehicle and not been ejected. If he'd been wearing a seatbelt, it would have prevented him from receiving such serious injuries. Wear your seatbelt, it will save your life.
Coming up,
Yes, white career round the back. Got eyes on the back of the property.
the net closes in
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
on the runaway driver suspected of killing 2 people.
Then I can just remember seeing car bang, crash.
Love that field through that gap.
And another hit and run
And I was like, I'm ringing the police. You don't need the police. You don't need the police.
puts innocent lives at risk.
When somebody's crashed into you and you've got children in the car, it's just panic.
We've got BM coming out to the other side.
Yeah.
It's overtaken.
Overtaken.
Following a head-on hit-and-run collision which killed a mother and son,
The family members at the other side have been made aware of the deceased.
one suspect was arrested.
Where's your mate gone then?
Went all the way.
But another, believed to be the driver, remains at large.
We're just having a look at the footage to see if we can identify the offenders from the vehicle.
Two days later, there's a breakthrough for Crash Detective Sergeant Craig Walker.
We get given a name, and that then leads us to an individual who lives in Sheffield. The address is 30 miles away from where we are, so we have to get there quick. All the time when you're driving there, you're thinking, hope we get there in time, hope we get there in time, hope we get there in time, because you don't want to turn up and they're not there.
As the teams surround the address,
White queer round the back, got eyes on the back of the property.
Craig and colleagues force their way into the property.
Yes, yes. Right, good.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. We're going to search the address for some clothing, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, what areas of the house do you have access to?
All doors will be locked. You have to look in the kitchen.
Where's all your clothes? Where are we going to get your clothes? You want us to get you some socks in that? Where are
they'll be in the kitchen.
In the kitchen, right.
Yeah.
You got some gloves then? Right, so we've got shoes.
Yeah.
They're them. They're actually wet through.
Yeah.
They were under that unit there. They were what you were wearing? Alright. You got grey joggers on there.
Yeah.
Damp. The clothing visually matches the clothing on the CCTV we have for the driver. They're the trackies. They're wet. The fact that they are extremely wet 2 days after the collision support that these were the clothes he was wearing at the time. It was a rainy day. The fields were wet. If you've gone through any hedgerows or grass, you will have got wet through. So I'm fairly confident that that is our guy.
So if that's your shoes that you were wearing, what coat were you wearing?
I don't know. May as well look, so it's...
Yeah. See that one there?
There's a couple of all different...
Yeah, that's damp. That's just wet through.
Sit back down again.
That's the one. You walk behind me, mate.
The suspect's taken into police custody.
He did show some genuine remorse towards the deceased. He realised, he said to me in the car, I've ruined some lives, I've ruined people's lives.
With the driver finally caught, Craig's focus turns to building a case of causing death by dangerous driving.
Getting an arrest is not the end of the job, it's not the finish. You're not even at the halfway point. You've still got a lot of work to do.
First, Craig prepares the CCTV evidence.
What is in question is the matter of due care and dangerous. If you're convicted of a charge of death by dangerous, the sentencing powers are far greater than due care. We've got various clips of CCTV from various locations around Chesterfield and Walton. So we can piece together the movements of the BMW on the morning of the collision. So you can see on this dash cam a 1.5 miles short of the collision site. You've got the car come flying past on the outside. So he's already overtaken, he's driving aggressively, and it just shows you his mindset of driving, that this isn't a one-off slight error of judgment. You can clearly see that he's breaking the speed limit, he's overtaking cars when it's not really safe to. You can see here that there is a car oncoming that he only just gets back in front of and narrowly avoids a collision there. So we have got that continual behaviour which puts you in the realm of dangerous driving. You've got excess speed in the lead up to it, plus 70 miles an hour and a 50. It just shows it's a driver not paying attention to the road.
Stay back. Look, that is not the way to manage it, I don't think.
You've got a member of the public there just giving an open opinion at that moment in time about the level of driving that BMW driver is showing, the shock by it. So as we go further on, you can see there he's starting, those two headlights are starting to edge out towards the middle. When you see the overtake, as soon as he pulls out, you know it's not on. There's no physical way, once he gets level with that car on his inside, that this collision can then be avoided. You watch it wishing you could be there, screaming at him, saying, no, don't do it, don't do it. You wish you could freeze time and change time, but you can't. You just sit in horror because for a split second, you know what's going to happen. And then it's just horrific when it does.
Who's had a crash? Go on, 999. 999 now.
You hear the moment in his voice when the father from the other car realises that there's been a collision and the sheer panic.
It's just horrendous. To hear the voices of the dad and his son in that car as the collision occurs, it'll never leave me.
In police custody, officers interviewed the two runaway suspects, starting with the passenger.
He's blasting up through Walton, he's dropping it down into sport mode, saying, oh, it's rate rapid, this car.
Yeah.
He's like letting acceleration off, then he's booting it again.
So how fast do you think you were going along that flying mile?
60, 70. Easy, man. It was sound like we're in an aeroplane. We've just gone over that brow there and he's just locked up, so we've just slid all the way into the bottom.
Why did it happen?
Reckless driving.
By who?
By the driver. And he ran up the road.
Why?
Because he's kicking off shy, screaming, no, come, we can't stay here, we can't stay here, we can't stay here. If you don't come with me, I'm going to send someone to your house to stab you up. You better keep your mouth shut.
Who said that?
Him to me. So that's when I ran.
The driver is next to be interviewed.
Do have to protect this car. And I can remember clearly thinking to myself this plenty of times go around this car. And as I'd gone to go round it, they'd sped up.
No.
And I just slammed on. Slammed my brakes on and thought I'd try to get back in.
Yeah.
Then I can just remember seeing car bang, crash. If it weren't for the car speeding up or was overtaking, none of that would have actually happened. I got out car, seeing just loads of people. There were a bloke screaming, shouting, asking who was driving. And then we were off. I was scared.
Okay.
I can just remember walking through a field and an old bloke stopped and gave me a lift.
Okay.
He's effectively blaming the weather, saying that the car locked up, it skidded because of the water, but it doesn't really hold true. What he's done is he's not looked. So he says he thought it was clear. Clearly it wasn't, because the victim's car was on the other side of the road coming. He also tries to pin some blame on the vehicle he was overtaking.
Right. Not a good watch.
The issue for that is that we've got footage from the dash cam that shows that the other car didn't speed up, didn't alter its speed at all. And the accident is absolutely down to this person's standard of driving.
With a large volume of CCTV and dash cam evidence, the driver is being charged with causing death by dangerous driving.
Our hope is that it reaches a conclusion at court where our victim's family feel that some level of justice has been served, because we'll never be able to give them what they really want, which is the loved ones back.
Coming up.
He's come out the car.
2 males have run off from this Golf with no insurance.
Another hit-and-run suspect leaves a family in distress.
I'm more frightened because the children are frightened.
Go ahead.
Reports of a road traffic collision involving 2 vehicles.
Yes, I can go to that.
Traffic cop Rich Morris is heading to the scene of an accident.
2-vehicle RTC. I think they're both arguing about whose fault it is. Unfortunately, accidents do happen and nobody's ever going to win by arguing at the scene of an RTC, are they, like that? So we'll get there. Tango 10, I'm state 6 and searching. In fact, I'm state 6 now. I can see there's a lady stood on the grass verge and she's got her arms around these 2 children at the side of her, and she's quite animated.
Because that field through that gap.
Who was?
The 2 men that was in the car.
In this car? She tells me that 2 guys that were in this red Golf have run off across fields.
I came off the phone to the first police call. I made a second one to say they ran off.
Right. Everybody involved in a road traffic collision has got a duty of care to stop at the scene and exchange details as a bare minimum. And obviously, everybody's got a moral and civic duty to ensure that other people are all right as well, haven't they? Guys, I've got a 2-vehicle RTC here. 2 males have run off from this Golf. Anywhere up near Bolsover, Shybrook?
I can't give you an estimated time of arrival at the moment.
Got no units to attend.
They've gone off over fields. I think if we haven't got anybody in the area at the moment, it's going to be too late. I've asked for divisional police and a drone as well, but there's nobody available. So what's happened then?
I'm actually sat at the red traffic lights on the other side of the road.
Yeah. Coming this way?
No, I'm going towards
You're
Chesterfield.
looking to go that way, yeah.
It's come flying round the corner. It's only clipped my wind mirror, but took it clean off. See his skid marks here.
Yeah.
And he's come at right speed and he's ended up there.
Right.
I spun round as soon as he's done it to say,
Yeah.
hey, you've hit me.
Yeah.
But as before I've known it, he's in
here.
ditch.
Right.
And he's come out the car. And I was like, I'm ringing the police. You don't need the police. You don't need the police. I'm insured. I'm insured. I was like, I'm getting your help as well as me helping my children. And he was just on, and all of a sudden he's pegged it across there. There was 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'm more frightened because the children are frightened.
All right, that's all right.
But my wind mirror's still up the road. You'll see it.
All right.
You just panic when somebody's crashed into you, ran off, and you've got children in the car. You just panic. It's not right fair on the children. It's not 7 years old. It's not fair.
At the end of the day, everybody's safe, aren't they?
No,
You
it's
two-
amazing. I've got someone coming to pick them up.
Right, okay. Well, you could take your car. You'll be all right. You'll be able to drive off.
They were that frightened. I didn't know, how long I was going. I know you won't.
I know, but you'll be able to go in a minute. I'll get some details from you, and you'll be able to go on your way, if that's all right. And I'll sort everything else out. Hey, Tango 10. I'm going to need recovery for this Golf, please. It's locked. You have to question, why do we think the driver's run off? If he's got nothing to hide, why has he run off? I've run the vehicle through Police National Computer.
No, there's no insurance hold on the vehicle.
Clean sure. He's saying he is.
How do you know he's saying he is?
When he was talking, he was shouting abuse at me when I was on the first
I don't think he is insured.
Oh, you're joking.
No. Being involved in a road traffic collision is upsetting anyway because there's masses of inconvenience. You've got to go through the insurance, premiums going up. You don't appreciate how much you rely on a motor vehicle until it's taken off the road. It does cause people stress, and we get that.
He was swore blind, he was insured, gave me a load of abuse and ran across the field. It's unfair, really unfair. It's not. Why should we be out of pocket for them?
That's what we deal with nowadays, isn't it? People want to drive like idiots, cause this kind of damage. It's obviously not stolen because they've managed to lock it up and they've got the keys for it.
Smaller than me, both of them, one with ginger. The driver had a hat on.
Right, okay.
I'm just petrified. I've never been involved in it.
I know.
And you just...
Well, you'd be all right driving, do you think?
Yeah, I'll be fine. It's the children. They've just done the church Christmas nativity. Can we come for a ride? Yeah, no problem.
This lady's phoned her friend who's then turned up and taken both children away in her car. Don't forget your seatbelts, kids. That lady really upset. Kids in the car. Fortunately for her, it's only a wing mirror. But it's still really upsetting for the kids and that. She's at the side of the road, all upset, and it's just a nightmare. But then you've got people driving around in rubbish cars, exceeding the speed limit. It's a recipe for disaster. So, to be honest, I'm glad it's another one off the road and he's not having it back till I find out who was driving it. So, yeah, it's my car for a bit now.
Research shows that uninsured drivers are more likely to commit a hit and run.
There is a trail and somebody needs to take responsibility and accountability for it, or they won't end up with a car back at all. It's a bit difficult, however, we'll send out some notice of intended prosecution to the registered keeper, see where that takes us.
The car will be recovered to the depot until the runaway driver claims it.
Obviously got no pride in his car as well, and there's a baseball bat in the passenger side. It's a bad day at the office for the driver of this car today, I'd say. Some significant front end damage. I'd suggest it's a write-off. At Dark Muddy Field, there's a couple of people out there, cold and muddy, and lost a few quid. Have they got any sympathy from me? No, they haven't.
Back at base, Rich is determined to track the owner down.
I've done some research on our intelligence database and found a telephone number for this chap. He said he was scared of this lady who was upset trying to look after 2 kids at the roadside, and that's why him and his friend have run off through muddy fields. He felt intimidated. I've sent a notice of intended prosecution to that person. He never replied, so he can expect a very large fine, hundreds of pounds, and a minimum of 6 points on his licence for not sending that form back. The driver of this Golf thought he's being clever by being on his toes and running away from the scene, but we get there one way or the other.
When hit and runs happen, an estimated 90% of the drivers responsible are never tracked down.
You get road collisions where somebody has just made a ridiculous decision. They've then ultimately killed somebody, whether intentional or not, and then they've not even got the morals to stay behind, accept their action. They'd rather just run away and hide from it and hope that they never get caught.
Why would you leave the scene of an accident? You're guilty of something, aren't you? They're either off their head through drink or drugs, or they've committed a road traffic offence.
Hearing that somebody's made off from a scene does make you angry. Knowing you've been in an accident with somebody, surely your next thought must be, as a decent human being, is to go and try and help that person. Sadly, there's a small proportion of society who put themselves above everybody else. It's not about others, it's not about caring for people, it's about self-preservation.
In this episode,
is it something on that side which is causing him to flip over, and he's ended up over there?
The driver who was found ejected from his car spent over a month in a coma due to his injuries.
It's life-threatening until we know otherwise.
He has since been discharged from hospital.
He's now stated that he was the only one in the car.
No action has been taken against the driver for any offences.
I'm not because that field through that gap.
Who was?
2 men that was in the car.
The runaway Golf driver who crashed his car after colliding with a young mum and her daughters
Come out the car, and I was like, I'm ringing the police. You don't need the police, you don't need the police.
has been reported to court on summons for failing to comply with a notice of intended prosecution.
Another one off the road, and he's not having it back till I find out who was driving it. So, yeah, it's my car for a bit now.
If prosecuted at court, he'll receive a minimum of 6 points and up to a £1,000 fine.
Talking, it was shouting abuse at me when I was on the first
I don't think he is insured.
Oh, you're joking.
No.
Despite not claiming on her insurance, the woman's insurers informed her that her next year's premium will be higher because she's been involved in a collision.
Like acceleration off, then he's booting it again.
And the passenger who left the scene of the alleged hit-and-run collision in the Peak District.
If you don't come with me, I'm going to send someone to your house to stab you up.
Who said that?
Him to me. So that's when I ran.
Was not charged with any offences and was released without action.
We're going to search the address for some clothing. All right. You got grey joggers on there. Yeah. Damn.
The driver responsible for the tragic death of a mother and son was charged with causing death by dangerous driving.
If it went for a car speeding up or was overtaken, none of that would have actually happened.
He was sentenced to 13 years in prison.
I was scared.
And disqualified from driving for 10 years.
Catch more Traffic Cops new next Monday at 8. And if you or someone you know has been affected by any of the issues raised in tonight's programme, please go to channel5.com/helplines for information and support. A huge brawl is turning deadly tonight, so can detectives hunt down the violent offenders? Stay there for police suspect number 1. New next.
Scott straight through the red line.
Damage, David.
Don't do that! Stay still!
Derbyshire Traffic Cops.
It does have warning markers for potential firearms.
Turn over! You're under arrest. Intent to supply class A drug.
Police 1,000 square miles.
It's a crash.
You got any other injury other than your head?
With some of the UK's most dangerous roads.
How nobody's been killed out of this, I don't know.
Do you know how fast you were going?
It's scary when stuff like this happens.
In life and death situations.
Get on the ground, you'll be tasered!
We've got runners.
Face down.
Yes, successful sting.
Around every corner,
Great acting, mate.
there's a new challenge for the traffic cops.
Step out of the vehicle now! I'm going
Stay
home.
there.
Stop grabbing me like that.
I've got it. Coming up,
Driver's potentially got no pulse.
extreme weather
6-month-old baby in the car, and the baby's more as well.
and bad decisions
Tractor's pulled out here, failed to stop. Fiesta's hit it and then ended up over there.
along country roads.
The tractor driver's alleging that the brakes have failed on it.
And distracted drivers.
When he hit the vehicle, he was on the wrong side of the road.
Okay.
And was coming around the corner at some speed.
Putting lives at risk.
You can look like that as much as you want, okay? Nobody else has come off the road. Okay, so you're going too fast for the conditions.
Yeah, I've just heard your last to another force about the weather situation. I'm honest, this Channel 4 updating it.
Derbyshire's Peak District is one of Britain's highest national parks, affected by severe conditions most winters.
Sunday morning, and there's been a big dump of snow overnight, which obviously means that people are, again, not used to driving in it. There's been a few accidents already that we've attended to this morning. People either going onto roads that the cars can't cope with or just going too fast, so...
PC Bex Callan is starting patrol in North Derbyshire.
If I'm on my way to work and there's been heavy rain or snow, I know it's going to be a shift of crashes, basically, because people do not drive to the conditions and they take silly chances.
We'll probably get called to cars that are stuck or collisions, things like that. So I've got the Ranger today, which is a big 4x4, which does very well in this weather. So we should be able to get to people if they need help.
Got you assigned to a job from this morning. It's that vehicle in a ditch.
1-1, put me to that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, thank you.
It's an RTC up in Hope Valley at Kerber, and the male's in and out of consciousness, so we need to make our way up there and see what's happened, really.
The incidents occurred in remote countryside.
But we are about 40 minutes away, but we still need to drive to the conditions. You know, we can't be flying up there at top speed in this weather because we'll have accidents ourselves. Just got an update to say that the driver's potentially got no pulse, so it's taken a turn for the worst. It was potentially just RTC, but it could be serious injury or fatal. You know, if he's got no pulse and it's serious injury, life-threatening, you can't see, can you, at all? See about 100 metres.
Our job is to preserve life first. That's what we've got to do.
I'm not actually getting any updates at the minute. Tango 11, state 6. Fire is also state 6.
Tango 11 got fire to rescue that's been called out, so I don't know if you need him or not.
Oh. Very slippy. Right.
Hello?
We were outside because we got down around the corner to see what was happening and she just came flying down.
Right. Is she breathing, conscious?
Yeah, regained consciousness.
Right. Any Oscar Tango 11? Daughter in the car and baby, who are both fine.
As fire and rescue officers help a mother and baby.
Yeah, she's still in the car, but she is conscious and breathing.
A grandmother, who's the driver, is being kept in the car until paramedics arrive.
Hello, were you in the car with her? Yeah, right. Are you two okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ambulance is coming anyway, so they can check you and her out.
It's mainly, like, obviously her, I'm not it's her.
Yeah, of course. What's happened? Have you just been coming down this way?
Yeah, so we've come, like, obviously it's been icy all the way up, and it's the way that Google Maps has brought us. So we've come down here, and like, she's seen the corner, and then the car just kind of started slipping.
Yeah.
And then it just went, like,
yeah.
And we just went straight up and over the wall.
Okay. NA Oscar Tango 11.
While they wait for an ambulance, a mountain rescue medical team arrives.
The daughter and the baby's fine. They're leaving her there until we've got somewhere to put her, because at the minute we haven't. So basically, the driver's been coming down here, and as you can see on this corner, it's just compacted snow turned into ice. And whether she was coming too fast or not, she's not going to have made this corner in a small Kia. So she's gone straight over the stone wall into the farmer's field. Luckily, she seems to be all right. She's conscious and breathing. There was a 6-month-old baby in the car as well that's all right, and the baby's mum. So thankfully they're both all right, but just a recipe for disaster coming down here. Drivers that crash in these conditions are not adjusting their driving style. Weather warnings go out to say stay at home. If you don't need to drive, don't drive. People don't listen to that. People still go out into the countryside. People still go down country lanes when it's been snowing, and people are going out in their small front-wheel drive, tiny cars, and they get stuck.
After getting as close as they can by road, paramedics arrive on foot to treat the driver.
Where do you live here?
I live in just the other side of that tree. You can just make out in the mist down there.
Ah, right.
An eyewitness confirms to Bex what happened.
This is always terrible in this weather. People just don't come prepared, and drivers don't realise quite how steep the road is. I think last year there were 4 went through this particular wall. So if it's snowy like this, don't come over the moorland roads.
Beautiful job.
Every year we get 3 or 4 cars and usually a van, and sometimes they go through the wall, sometimes they bounce off it, but it's a regular occurrence.
I would definitely be at home was I not at work today.
I would be right. You can fire on good work.
Yeah.
The driver's going to be checked over at a local trauma unit.
So the lady's gone off to hospital with aches and pains. I don't think there's major damage to her car. There's damage to a bit of wall. Baby and her daughter's fine. So yeah, we've scraped the road so nobody else has a crash around this corner, hopefully. And we'll get off to the next job.
Coming up.
Got a report of what appears to be a potential fatal RTC.
A bad crash.
Got reports of a couple of casualties.
On a dark rural road.
The tractor has come out of this junction where it collided with the Fiesta.
Leaves a life in the balance.
If somebody's going to die from this, we need to find out answers and what caused it.
Forcing officers to make an arrest.
Causing serious injury by dangerous driving.
From an A traffic unit, start making the way please to this. Got a report of what appears to be a potential fatal RTC.
What is the job? I've heard nothing what it is other than a RTC.
I think it's a farm. Just stand by, I'll have another look.
Is anybody unconscious?
Near Chesterfield, PC Craig Dawes is on his way to a serious crash.
The fact is upside down. The car's smoking, got 4 patients that they're aware of, bleeding and wounds, vehicles rolled over.
Officers like Craig deal with hundreds of bad smashes on rural roads in winter every year.
Got reports of a couple of casualties. Tractors on its roof or on its side. It's a high-speed road that's unlit, so at that time of night it's going to be a bad one. Anything involving a tractor and a car at speed, it's going to be quite an impact. When you are moving agricultural vehicles, tractors and things, they present a high risk really, not due to the speed, but due to the size and the dangerous loads that they can carry. The last thing you want is something running into them. Yeah, I've been to a couple of serious and fatals on this road. It's unlit. I mean, in winter it does get quite bad. You've got to adapt your driving, especially when it's on country roads and dark lanes and things like that. And it's in the dark, you're looking out for other road users.
The driver of the tractor stated to me that he was pulling out the junction and his brakes didn't work. That's when he rolled out of the junction and the other cars hit him. He's not got any substantial injuries, he's just complaining of head pain. It's the people that were in the other vehicle that have obtained quite bad injury.
As Craig arrives, other emergency services are tending to casualties.
2386.
Mate, can you go in local? They've apparently got the tractor driver.
Yeah.
Just grab hold of him so I get an update on this kid.
Yeah.
Traffic cop John Terry was one of the first on scene.
The most seriously injured occupant of the Fiesta is now on the way to Sheffield Northern General. Significant head injuries, trauma, etc. So we need to get some MRI scans and everything. The scene's been locked down. We're just awaiting the arrival of the forensic collision investigator to have a look at the scene.
After speaking to the tractor driver, Craig updates colleagues.
So we've got the tractors here. It's saying he's pulled out, his brakes have failed. And he's hit that car there, that Fiesta, made a mess of that.
Yeah.
He's already said my brakes didn't work on it, and that's what's caused me to pull out.
Right. Okay.
His brakes have failed, which has made him pull out into the path of this car. It's a quiet road, as you can see, it's unlit, which has sent that car rolling. Basically now what we do is treat it as we would like a basic murder scene. Everything's locked down, we try and keep everybody away from the vehicles and so on to make sure that any evidence is preserved.
He sat down as quick as we can. Alright, look.
As the Fiesta passengers receive treatment,
just keep to this side for us.
Craig deals with the young tractor driver.
It's done a procedure that we will request a sample of saliva for a drug swipe, and we'll request a sample of breath. Have you had any drugs in the last 24 hours or anything like that? Okay. So what that does now, that'll be 8 minutes that we just wait for that. Yes. Have you had a alcoholic drink in the last 20 minutes? Blow, keep going, 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 keep going. And that's great, you have blown 0.
With one of the casualties at hospital in a critical condition, a forensic collision investigation is now underway.
Tractor's pulled out here, it's failed to stop.
No.
Fiesta's hit it.
And ended up
and then ended up over there.
As soon as we've got the injured people out the vehicles, we then lock that down as a crime scene, just like we would any other scene.
3 in here.
3 in here. So we've got dad, son, and wife in the back.
If somebody's going to die from this, we need to find out answers and what caused it.
Not sure who was driving.
Son was passenger though, wasn't he?
We've got our forensic collision investigator. They're going to do a scan, they're going to take the photos, going to take road markings.
Crash detective Ian Niven and forensic investigator Emma Lound take up the case.
Is any occupants from the vehicle still at scene?
Mum is in that ambulance down there.
Not worth just finding out from her.
Who was travelling where?
Yeah, who was wearing.
My name's Ian, I'm one of the collision investigators today. Just a very quick question.
When the tractor's come out into this carriageway and the Fiesta's been travelling along it's quite a fast road, the tractor has come out of this junction where it should have given way. They've collided with each other. Mark number 2 here, you can see quite a significant gouge mark, which is where the Fiesta's collided with the tractor, forcing the Fiesta into the road. Something from the underside of it, usually the wishbone or something similar, has caused a gouge mark in the road surface. We've got a few more little ones kind of scattered about here, marks 3, 4 and 5. That could be from the tractor overturning or it could be from the Fiesta. And then you can see a long mark here, which starts where number 7 is and goes all the way to the vehicle there, as you can see by the cat's eyes I've put out. After it's collided with this vehicle, it's maintained a sort of slightly curved but relatively straight path to where it's come to rest down there. And then obviously they've dealt with the casualties after that.
Sergeant Adam Shipley is also on scene with an update on the casualty.
He's got a severe depressed fracture of the skull. Still life-threatening. They're putting him on general anaesthetic and they're going in, taking him to Hallamshire tonight now to be operated on, which is like a neuro specialist place for brain injuries. Yeah, so they're still saying he's still very poorly and still could die basically. The tractor driver's alleging that the brakes have failed on it, so it's crucial for the investigation that they are checked to see if the brakes are working. Obviously, while it's on its side, any fluids could be draining out potentially, so it's important to get it back on its wheels. It just help the examination tomorrow by the vehicle examiners.
As the investigation continues, Craig searches for more evidence.
Thank you very much. We'll get somebody to come and sort that for you.
A resident CCTV has captured the incident.
And what it shows is the vehicle travelling down here, getting to the junction and appearing not to really stop. And it shows it colliding with the Fiesta. That he said that his brakes have failed and he's overshot the junction. Well, the CCTV does show him overshooting the junction, but whether that's due to brake failure or travelling too fast or complacent, this lad, he comes up and down this road quite a lot. Has he been and done it numerous times when nothing's happened?
The tractor driver claims his brakes failed, but Craig and the team suspect otherwise.
The drug swipe came back as negative, so what we're going to do now is the driver's going to be arrested for causing serious injury by dangerous driving, and then he'll be transported. Hi, you all right? So the time is 9:10, all right, and I'm arresting you on suspicion of causing serious injury by dangerous driving. The arrest is necessary for the prompt investigation of the offence and to gain evidence by further questioning.
The teenager will now be taken into police custody.
Right, I understand that your world has probably just fallen out. Don't worry, it's part of the investigation, all right? Obviously it's severe and it's quite serious, but you've probably never been in trouble before in your life, have you? All right, so the last thing that I want you to do is get worried and upset. Obviously, I feel sorry for the occupants in the car. Are they going to pull through? But I've also got a little bit of sympathy for the tractor driver. He could be facing a sentence of death by dangerous or causing serious injury by dangerous drive. You do feel a little bit sorry for him as well as, the others involved. You'll be taken to Ripley custody, okay, where you'll be put in a cell and then you'll be interviewed. You understand? So if you just take a seat in that car.
While Craig takes the driver to a police station, recovery of the tractor becomes the priority.
At the minute we've got some quite serious injuries to the passenger from the Ford Fiesta. We need to make sure that the vehicles are roadworthy. Obviously the tractor, there's some suggestion that there may have been some issue with the braking at the time the collisions took place. It'll all form part of the long-term investigation plan and how ultimately what charges, if any, come towards the driver of the tractor.
Whenever you come across a collision, we tend to find that nobody sets out to cause a collision that day. It's normally circumstances have unfolded and that's what's caused it. And we go and speak to the driver and we find out it's a young lad who's saved up and bought his first tractor and he was on his way to work. But we've also got a duty of care to the injured person. As far as he's concerned, his world's just ended.
With the rear seat passenger still receiving hospital treatment for a serious head injury.
Right, follow it round now, Phil, follow it round.
Emma and vehicle examiner Trevor Jones inspect the vehicles.
31 years.
Yeah, at some point these vehicles have come together and collided. During the collision, the Fiesta, due to the dynamics of the vehicle, has flipped the tractor over onto its side and the rear occupant of the Fiesta was seriously injured.
From an impact point of view, I believe it happened and it came in from its near side.
Yeah, it approached from the near side, yeah. It's a significant amount of damage. The front occupants both walked out of it. I think the front ones did. It's the rear occupant that got the... With what the driver said of the tractor initially, that the brakes failed, that's obviously the key thing that needs investigating to start with.
Okay, what we're trying to do is get the tractor centralised onto the brake rollers. It's important to get it centralised for accurate readings. And basically what happens is the rollers will drive the wheels. And the test is for the foot brake to be applied to try and stop the rollers rotating. On this, we've got a split brake. One pedal, this wheel, other pedal, obviously the left. But at the incident time, and mainly when they're driving, they'll lock the pedals together to make it one pedal. Okay, so we're now starting the offside. Yep. Rotating. Start to brake. Yep. 610. So we're now going to lock the pedals together and run both rollers together. Both running.
Yep.
What we at? How many?
100. One there.
To lock. 640, 380 near side. And the lock, and locked. Yeah, so they're both locked again. The brakes are working. There's travel, but the brakes do lock and they do work.
Ultimately, if they work, they work.
They work, and
So,
yeah. So on that basis, you know, the braking system hasn't failed effectively.
we've got a couple more tests to do with various bits and bobs on it. We need to just check that the brake lights were working as well, because we have got some CCTV, some distant CCTV from behind it. So we just want to make sure that the brake lights were working and what we've got on camera is correct.
What I'm going to do, Emma,
yeah,
I'm going to press the foot brake, and I just want you to tell me the point at which the lights come on.
Okay.
So I'm starting to press the foot brake now. Are they on?
No.
Tell me what point the brakes come on.
Yeah.
There. So it's at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've managed to establish that the brakes were working. We've got full wheel lock on the rear wheels. It's only got a two-wheel braking system, and it was effective. And we also managed to establish that the brake lights were operating when the brake pedal was pressed. So the claim that the brakes weren't working doesn't seem to be substantiated at this time.
For the young tractor driver, it means he may face a careless driving charge and a possible prison sentence. Coming up.
When he hit the vehicle, he was on the wrong side of the road.
Okay.
And was coming around the corner at some speed.
Wet country roads.
This is about where the impact is. Then he's rolled it a couple of times down there.
And speeding drivers.
Come around the corner and he's lost it, basically.
Endangering lives.
She's been lucky. She's been lucky, really. Hopefully he'll get a suitable punishment for this.
Appreciated. I know, like I say, that you were mentioning the weather, so I appreciate that. I'm on a Fish Channel for your update.
It's persisting it down today. Just look outside, it's grim. I think we need a boat today, not a car. So let's see how it goes.
Facing a wet shift on the roads, the number of smashes officers like Rich Morris deal with increases by a quarter.
When the weather conditions take a turn for the worse and you've got heavy rain and high winds, what I can't understand is people don't adjust their driving style according to these conditions.
Although visibility is good, relatively, you have got a lot of spray coming up, you have pockets of water on the road, there's little microclimates everywhere.
I think that's one of the questions of life that will never be answered, why people don't just slow down when the weather is atrocious.
Doesn't matter what tyres you've got on, if you're hitting a pool of water exceeding the speed limit, you've got more of a risk of being involved in a collision.
People just don't get it.
It's incredibly stupid that people don't adjust their driving style according to the conditions.
Officer Tango 3 now receiving an A.
Tango 10, I'm in Duffield, what have we got?
Got a RTC. So it's just on the on-slip, just as you're pulling onto the A38.
So it's A38 Toyota roundabout on the south.
Yes.
Rich is responding to reports of a single car collision.
Somebody's iPhone has gone off because there's been an impact, and some cars have a responder in them that will make a telephone call when there's been an impact. Cars actually ringing you up nowadays. We're really living in the future, aren't we?
The actual occupants calling in, so they've had a crash with a car. One come down past his field and lost it, and all that. Airbag is on off, not injured. Car's been stuck in the road.
Yes, noted, run away. There is a BMW M Series that has come off the road in the wet weather. Apparently he's not injured, so that's good news. There we are.
The drivers crashed on a dual carriageway slip road near Derby.
What's happened here then, pal?
Come round the corner and it stepped out, and then that was it.
Right.
The Arco railing and landed there.
Okay. Right, I need to get you recovered then, don't I? Yeah. NA Tango 10. You got no injuries, mate? No, you're all right. It's a bit shook up.
No, the airbag went off.
Yes, exactly where it is. On slip on the southbound.
That's a slippery corner, man. Wasn't even doing anything. It's like going around.
You must have been going a bit. Everybody else is managing to go round there, aren't they? That's.
You can go fast too.
Okay. It's just if everybody else has managed to do it, but you haven't. There's obviously. Well, what else could it be? That's what I'm saying.
He went out. Honestly, he went. Literally 2 seconds. He went on that one.
What I am saying though is that everybody else manages to come round here, don't they?
You've seen a police car that bend on it, so they're going to slow down, aren't they?
Well, before I got here though, they were still doing that, weren't they? He's come around the corner and he's lost it basically. So, but it goes back to what we said earlier this morning. Thousands of people drive down here every day. They don't seem to have a problem with it. It's going too fast, isn't it?
The smashed car will now be recovered, while its driver waits for a lift.
He is lucky. It could have been a lot worse, but like I say, collisions don't just happen. There is a reason for them. If there's a crash in bad weather, it's the same as a crash in dry weather. It's the fault of the drivers, generally, unless there's a mechanical defect, which some people try and use, oh, it's a mechanical defect, my car's failed or my brakes have failed or something. It's a load of rubbish.
Despite his suspicions, Rich isn't taking any further action against the driver.
There's an off-duty paramedic on scene. We've got the off-duty officer on scene.
At Force HQ, reports are coming in of another collision.
Female driver of the registered and is conscious breathing but does have whiplash, neck and back injury, possible broken arm.
20 miles north of Rich, involving multiple vehicles.
The driver of the black vehicle, the Fabia, split several times, either foreign and national, injuries, state of shock and injury to arm.
Is that the one that's rolled several times? Well, on the radio, they just followed him and he's just got out and legged it, hasn't he?
Fellow traffic cop Sergeant Adam Shipley is also en route to the scene.
Yes, the Skoda Fabia is the one that's rolled and he's the one that's trying to make off at the same time.
After a head-on smash on a country road, one of the drivers has tried to run away.
The majority of accidents, crashes we go to, involving young people, predominantly young men. I think there is an element of some of them, their ambition certainly outstrips their ability.
An update, young male driver of the black vehicle apparently is very agitated. So expect a bit of a welcome party. Possibly in shock, we're not sure about drink or drugs. And he won't disclose his name either.
They're either off the road through drink or drugs, or they've committed a road traffic offence. That's why they've fled the scene. Why would you leave the scene of an accident? Because you don't want to speak to us. we're going to what's been reported as a 3-car collision at a rural location a couple of minutes away up here. 3 vehicles involved, and apparently one of the vehicles has rolled several times as well. Ambulance are on scene. However, we've still got some mess to sort out. I think it is a bit of a mess, to be honest. So we've got to try and work out what's happened and sort it all out. Oscar Tango 10, state 6.
An injured woman is still behind the wheel of a Nissan.
Hey, you all right? Okay. All right, perfect. Nobody in this one. Right.
While the Skoda driver, which rolled several times,
follow him, my mate. Okay.
Has walked away unharmed.
Initially, you're looking at the severity of the incident. Are there injuries? How severe are those injuries? If it's damage only.
I need to call my family. Yeah, 1 minute. Just let him just deal with initial stuff, then we'll slow it all down. That's okay. Yeah, we'll chill. Chill will be good. Okay. Hey, mate.
As that one's come round the corner,
yeah.
He's hit an elderly lady in a vehicle on the wrong side of the road.
Right.
That's flipped at least twice or possibly thrice.
Okay.
An off-duty officer witnessed what happened.
He's actually climbed through the roof and out, and then he was trying to make off, so I grabbed hold of him.
Right. Was he speeding, or did you see him doing anything that he shouldn't have?
From what I saw, he was coming around the corner very fast.
Right.
When he hit the vehicle, he was on the wrong side of the road.
Okay.
And was coming around the corner with some speed.
All right.
Do you want me to...
All right. You've got your golden hour inquiries where you need to kind of lock that scene down, because you've possibly got witnesses there with dashcam footage, or they've witnessed it themselves. It's important to capture that information from the scene and speak to those people.
He came over the brow of the hill here this way, swerved on the other side of the road,
right,
and then tried to pull it back, and then pulling it back.
What do you think to his speed? Was it a bit?
It's wet, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's a 50-mile-an-hour road.
Yeah.
It might not have been going above 50, but the road conditions.
Right, but he was on the wrong side. He took the bend wide.
He came around the corner.
Right.
On the wrong
Are you in a car then? Are you?
I'm in that car.
You're in this one. What's happening with him, mate? Is he been breathalyzed?
Very much, yeah. Nudge doing it.
Yeah.
It's all going to be all good, I think.
Yeah, we've got two witnesses to it, saying that he's come over this side of the road, which
closing direction.
Yeah, she's coming up the hill. He's descending. This is about where the impact is. Then he's rolled it a couple of times down there.
By the looks of it, how he's got his seatbelt, the driver at fault, he's had his seatbelt fastened behind his back. Stopped the alarm going off to say put your seatbelt on. So he's very lucky, saying the car's actually half rolled onto its side, but he's not been ejected. We've gone to a lot recently, people not wearing seatbelts, and they've ended up basically getting thrown out the windows. That never ends well, that doesn't.
You live in Nottingham or in Leicester? In London. London? Yeah. Tell my mate there, he'll need your address.
Yeah, I give it. I give it the address, I give it everything.
No, I just spoke to him. I don't think he's coming back non-licensed holder.
It's a non-licensed holder?
Yeah, non-licensed.
Okay.
See now, he's got a seatbelt as well.
Is it on the seat behind him? Right, okay.
Adam's piecing together all the information.
I've arrived, after it's all the dust has settled, so to speak. The car's a right mess, but thankfully they're talking to the occupants.
It's looking like the black Skoda's come around the bend too quickly on the wet. I'd suggest lost control. This lady's really wrong place, wrong time. Doing nothing wrong, mind her own business, just driving back to a friend's house. And the cars have just collided. You can see offside to offside. The Skoda's then carried on down the road. Looks like it's span, hit the bank, turned onto its side. And lady's there. She's just been very carefully took out of the car by paramedics. So she's been lucky. She's been lucky, really.
The injured woman's being taken to hospital with a suspected broken arm.
The driver of the Skoda has been driving that Duke Attention. He's not got his seatbelt on, it's fastened behind him. as we've seen, and there's some suggestion you might not have a driving licence or a correct driving licence.
You're going onto rural country roads, quite fast roads, sweeping bends. It was raining, the road was wet. All it takes, the road wasn't much on the roads, but when there's less cars on the road, cars are generally travelling a bit faster, and all it takes is for a car to come around the bend, them to be on the wrong side at that time, and you've got a, disaster.
The young driver may now be facing charges.
We verified his identity, we know who he is, we know he's not drunk, we know he's not on drugs. Ultimately, there's not really a necessity to arrest him. He'll still get put before the courts in exactly the same way, it'll be down to the magistrate's then to decide what penalty he gets. Hopefully he'll get a suitable punishment for this.
If found guilty of dangerous driving, the man faces a ban and possibly a custodial sentence. Coming up.
Done a good job of that, didn't you?
A speeding driver in the wet.
You can look like that as much as you want, okay? You see all these cars coming down here? They're not coming off the road, are they?
Narrowly escapes in one piece.
You're lucky to still be walking.
Usually people slow down when it's bad weather.
Usually?
Yeah, I'm on the B6179. Looks like there's been an RTC, there's a car in the hedge.
Veteran traffic cop PC Paul Barker is teamed up with rookie PC Corey Jones.
Trusting to crash while it's tipping it down.
Yeah.
A car's hit a bus stop and crashed into a ditch.
You're right, mate. Are you injured?
The young drivers walked away unharmed.
Done a good job of that, didn't you?
And was the Ford Fiesta's only occupant.
So what happened then?
Just driving, and I think it's water. It's hit water, spun out, smacked that, went.
Okay. Are the keys still in it?
Yeah, everything.
People tend to crash in bad weather because they don't make any adjustments to their driving, and they just don't switch on and just think. They're just in their own little box, in their own little world, and they expect to get everywhere at the same speed and not bother slowing down.
Well, you stand reported for careless driving. Not everybody's coming off the road, are they? And you're going too fast for the...
Really?
Well, really, yeah. Well, you're the first one we've come across tonight who's come off the road because they're driving too fast for the conditions. So you stand reported for the question to be considered prosecuting you for careless driving. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you don't mention now something which you later land in court. Anything you do say may have been in evidence. But you can look like that as much as you want, okay? You see all these cars coming down here? They're not coming off the road, are they? All right. Nobody else has come off the road.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going too fast for the conditions.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'll get somebody to come down and give you a lift home. Can I have somebody join me down here just to give this chap a lift home?
What's this saying about like recording?
Well, I'll get to court, mate. If you challenge it.
I don't even think I was driving, man. I was thinking like 35, probably.
The man passed his driving test 9 months ago.
Inexperienced drivers tend to crash because their ability isn't as good as what they think they are. They've only just started to drive and they're still learning how to do it, and it takes a while to be able to drive properly afterwards.
I think you've done well to get that uninjured, because considering that you've come this far off the road, you've rolled and it's left on its side, you're lucky to still be walking.
It's too fast for the conditions, basically. It's nobody else's fault that they've come off the road. Nobody else is coming off here. It's not as though it's a difficult corner that to negotiate. It's a sweeping offside bend. Yeah, there's standing water in places, but not on that side.
You got enough leg room? Yeah. Sorted. Thank you very much. Definitely lucky to get that unscratched, uninjured. I mean, the car's rolled a couple of times and it's been left on its side. So for him to walk away from that scratch free is go and buy a lottery ticket, I think. Poor old Doris won't know what time her bus is now.
Wet weather plays a role in the death or serious injury of 1,300 people a year on UK roads.
It baffles me why they just don't slow down a bit. And people just don't adjust their driving style for the conditions. We've got a lot of standing water on the roads. You've got heavy rain, visibility's not great. And these people are just task focused, getting to their destination as soon as they can do. The hassle that you go through when your car has been involved in an accident, it's not worth it. If you're driving, you need to be switched on all the time. It's just not worth it.
Every single time there is heavy rain or snow, it is a shift of towing people out of ditches, getting people out of cars because they're aquaplaned on the dual carriageways. Stay at home, yeah, I'd be at home if I didn't have to go to work to pull them people out of ditches. They're just going out, like, as they would usually. Oh, I'm just going around to mates or going around to see my mum or whatever. Well, why? Now you've just crashed your car. Anyway.
The weather climate can change very quickly. You know, you can go in Derby and it can be 5-6 degrees. You get caught to the peaks and it can be -4 or 5. So they're the challenges where you've got to adapt your driving. So you're putting yourself at a massive risk by just increasing the speed.
In this episode,
yeah, she's still in the car, but she is conscious and breathing.
The grandmother who crashed whilst driving in the Peak District did not sustain any serious injuries and has since made a full recovery.
Like, she's seen the corner and the car just kind of started slipping. All right, straight up and over the, the wall.
No further action was taken by police in relation to the accident.
Tractor's here. It said he's pulled out, his brakes have failed.
The teenage tractor driver involved in a nighttime collision on an unlit country road,
just keep to this side for us,
was found guilty of causing serious injury by careless driving. He received an 18-month suspended prison sentence, 120 hours unpaid work, and banned from driving for 18 months.
He's got severe depressed fracture of the skull, still life-threatening. They put him on general anaesthetic.
The casualty, who was taken to hospital, is still recovering after sustaining a serious head injury. No action was taken against the driver, Rich Morris, suspected of speeding when losing control on a dual carriageway slip road.
It's just, if everybody else has managed to do it, but you haven't, there's obviously... Okay. Well, what else can it be, all right? Yeah, follow him, my mate.
The young man who tried to leave the scene after driving on the wrong side of the road head-on into an elderly lady.
He's been driving that Duke attention, and there's some suggestion he might have a driving licence or a correct driving licence.
Was reported on summons to court for careless driving and no licence and no insurance. At court, he was banned from driving and received a community service order.
Done a good job of that, didn't you?
And the young driver who crashed into a bus stop was reported on summons for careless driving.
You can look like that as much as you want, okay? You see all these cars coming down here, they're not coming off the road, are they?
He accepted responsibility for the crash and attended a driver improvement programme instead of prosecution.